What is worship? Today, Reverend Jeremiah is going to ask us to explore the concept of worship. Many of us in UU spaces kind of struggle with even the word worship. As Unitarian Universalists, the word worship comes from our religious roots, and for some UUs, it might still feel strange to use that word. What does worship mean? Why do we use it, and how can we gently incorporate that word into a meaningful understanding within our religious experience? We might be curious about words we use in modern religious spaces that seem very distant from our own current religious perspectives. But I'm curious if we can agree just for a moment to call this hour we're doing together worship. Now think about why you come here. What would be some of the words that you might use to describe to the stranger that happens to come upon our worship spaces? What happens in our space when we mark this time together as sacred, different from all the other times in the week? A book I found called 7 Words of Worship, The Key to a Lifetime of Experiencing God. The authors write that worship can be broken down into 7 words: creation, grace, love, response, expression, presence, experience. So I decided to sort of do a UU spin on how we might think of these words within our congregation. Creation. We are here to create many things, including using the sacred time of Sundays to connect to one another and create a community committed to the liberation of all people. Grace. We are practicing grace in how we respond to one another. Creating grace is allowing the pause and the forgiveness when we don't show up exactly the way we want to. It's allowing the benefit of the doubt when a word like worship appears for a sermon topic. It's staying curious within our spaces. Love. Love is the doctrine of this church. But could we also imagine that love is actually the spirit of this church? And that worship helps us connect to that big love that all humans need? Response. What is our response to injustice? How can we respond in peace? Is our response to one another in the spirit of worship? Expression. If we carry the sacred into relationships, do we tell each other we care? Do we call to make sure that we know that we're thinking of each other? Do we call just to say hello? Presence. Are we here when we're here? Do we transfer our energy into the sacred when we hear Ryan playing our prelude? Do we settle down, take a breath when we ring the church bell? Can we make this time and space special? Our presence matters. Experience. Experience tells us that what happens in sacred spaces matters. Sacred space, or when people are gathered together with intentions to create something more, matters. Worship is about marking a time and space different from the rest of the week, where being together, growing, and expanding into new viewpoints, expanded thoughts, and expansive horizons matters. We are holding and marking space for the sacred. Come, my friends, let us worship together.
Happy New Year. So each year is going to get better and better, right? So let's all set that intention. I know that's what's fueling me. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Community Church of Santa Monica. My name is the Reverend Jeremiah Lau-Shabazz Kalendae, and I serve this beloved community as its developmental minister. I am joined this morning with our team of worship leaders, and we are grateful for their presence and time and the care that they bring to crafting this service for us each week. If this is your first time joining us, or if you're still new to our congregation, we bid you a special welcome. And we hope you'll take the time to learn more about our community on our brand new and beautiful website, or to meet with folks after the service who will be at the visitor table outside. We light our flaming chalice this morning, symbol of our free faith, with Hymn to the Light by David Breeden. Our light is the light of the sun, keeper of all we love. Our light is the light of the earth, provider of sustenance. Our light is the light of all living things, life precious like our own. Our light is the light of each of us, bound together in need and hope. Our light is the light of the cosmos, keeper of all we know.
Good morning. When you're down and troubled and you need some love and care, and nothing is going right. winter, spring, summer, or fall. All you have to do is call, and I'll be there, yes I will. Now ain't it good to know that you've got a friend when people can be so cold? They'll hurt you, yes, and desert you, and take your soul if you let them. Oh, but don't you let them. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running, yeah, to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you have to do is call, and I'll be there, yeah. You've got a friend. Oh, you got a friend. Ain't it good to know that you got a friend? Yeah, you've got a friend. Oh, yeah, you've got a friend.
Oh, I'm in a good mood. Are you in a good mood? That was awesome. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church, Community Church of Santa Monica. I am Amy Brunell. My pronouns are she, her, and I am your worship associate today. Lately, I've decided my new identity, I haven't told Jeremiah yes, is I'm a theist humanist. That's kind of where I'm going right now, so we'll see if it changes. All right. So wherever you are today, we're really glad that you are here. If you are new to our community, there are many, many ways to be involved in our community and get to know others. We offer multiple programs to serve the needs of not only our congregation, but to also be of service in the wider world, including broad religious education and personal development for all ages. We also join with other social justice advocates, and you'll hear more about that specifically today, in community activism that contributes to the justice and harmony of our world. Unitarian Universalism is not defined by a creed or a dogma, but is actually guided by principles that affirm the inherent worth and dignity of every person. We encourage an individual search for truth and meaning. We honor the wonder of existence and believe that we're actually all connected to an interdependent web. Our beliefs are drawn from scriptures and science, nature and philosophy, personal experience, and ancient traditions. We are an open, affirming, and welcoming congregation, diverse in backgrounds, identities, spiritualities, ages, and philosophies of life. We are also a dedicated peace site. We are united in our desire to create an inclusive, beloved, and community to serve the principles of our faith and to serve the wider world. May you find comfort and camaraderie and inspiration here. We also gather in this space and in our virtual spaces. Hi, everyone out there. We acknowledge that the ground beneath our feet is and always been the home to indigenous peoples, including the Tongva, many of whom have been forcibly removed from to other lands. They remain committed to the stewardship of these lands over the century, and we are honored and grateful to be here on their traditional lands today. 4 announcements. I'm doing a build-up, so let's get ready. Our youth religious education is open and vibrant. It is really, y'all, it's amazing. In the next month, UUSM youth will be doing a beach cleanup and gardening. They'll also do coming-of-age field trips and OWL field trips. OWL is Our Whole Lives, which is our entire life curriculum on sexual education. It's amazing. You can be a part of making these activities a big success by either sponsoring something like an escape room or some pizza, or actually helping underwrite kids going to camp. We actually have a Unitarian Universalist camp that is pretty awesome. And so we ask that you help our youth get there. You can give online at uusm.org and specify Youth RE in your donation. Second, our membership committee, by our very own Norm, right there, is going to be holding our visitor meetup in the cottage right after, and that's that building right there. And this is an opportunity for new people to find out about Unitarian Universalism and our congregation. We're meeting in the little foyer area. Thank you for the update. Okay, this is where it gets really starting even more exciting. Guess who's coming to town next week? Reverend Judith is coming to town next week. I know, shut the front door, okay? Shut the front door. For those of you who don't know, Judith Meyer is our emeritus minister, and she lives in the Midwest now, and she's going to be coming to join us next Sunday, and we really want to honor her, so I hope everybody out there comes and makes it. She was our settled minister from 1993 until her retirement in 2008. So please join us for a special reception following the morning service, so that'll be really awesome. Okay. But this is the final amazing announcement. Y'all, we did it. We raised the $50,000 for the Spirit Level Grant for the Arizona. So thank you to everyone who worked on that and contributed and fixed it, and it's going to be awesome. I don't know when it's done, but they're working on it, and it's well underway, and we're still going to have a beautiful new entrance and a new door to our other garden. It's going to be awesome, so we're really excited about that. By the way, detailed announcements are always offered every Thursday in our weekly email, so get on our email list, and also news is available at uusm.org. Our website, as Reverend Jeremiah said, is full with so many things of upcoming programs, and check out all the wonderful things that we do here. If everyone now would please stand for our opening hymn and covenant. Our opening hymn is number 347, Gather the Spirit. Oh, and that's in the gray hymnal, I should say that.
Gather the Spirit, harvest the poor. Our separate fires will kindle one flame. Witness the mystery of this hour. Our trials in this light appear all the same. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then, gather in hope, compassion and strength, gather to celebrate once again. Gather the Spirit.
please join me in our covenant? Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humankind in fellowship, thus do we covenant with each other. El amor es la alianza de esta iglesia. Buscar la verdad es su sacramento, y el servicio es la oración. Vivir junto en paz, buscar el momento en la libertad, subir a la humanidad en comunión. Así es como unos a otros. You may sit. It's time now for the donations of the West Side Food Bank. And have you, like me, forgotten this every single week? Okay, so I just want you to know I'm starting off the new year in a better way. And I hope that you'll join me. And that we're going to incorporate a new Sunday practice together. I hope you'll remember to bring your donations of food. We've actually been partners in collecting food for the West Side Food Bank for many, many years, and some of us just have to get our Sunday habits going better. So anyway, I got mine. If you'd like to donate some food, some of the items they use in large quantities are like pasta and pasta sauce, in unbreakable packages, juice and protein bars, breakfast cereal. Other ideas might include things like peanut butter and canned goods, and you can add these things to our collection basket every week. Our service to the world can be embodied right here every Sunday. This could be considered worship. All people, young people, and adults are encouraged to give, and we will now receive this morning's offering, but they're already on it, so we'll do that later. Okay, so now I get to introduce my girl. So I am going to introduce you to the very fabulous former president, amazing RE committee person, mother of 3 people, long time. She does everything. I'm one of her mentorees. We have to be careful because we overextend sometimes. But please let me welcome to our Time for All Ages, the fabulous Jackie Weber.
I figured I might as well run up like a champ since I was introduced like a champ. So, Happy New Year, everybody. So, I was thinking about Amy's comments about worship and bringing worship out into life. And this is a little bit of a story about a person who lives like that and someone who doesn't live like that. It's called The Fisherman and the Businessman, and some of you may be familiar with it. So there once was a businessman who was sitting by a beach in a small Brazilian village. As he sat, he saw a fisherman rowing a small boat towards the shore, having caught quite a few big fish. The businessman was impressed and asked the fisherman, "How long does it take you to catch so many fish?" The fisherman replied, "Oh, just a short while." "Then why don't you stay longer at sea and catch even more?" the businessman said. "This is enough to feed my whole family," the fisherman said. The businessman then asked, "So what do you do for the rest of the day?" The fisherman replied, "Well, I usually wake up in the morning early and I go out to sea and I catch a few fish. Then I go back and play with my kids. And in the afternoon, I take a nap with my wife. And when the evening comes, I join my buddies in the village for a drink, and we play guitar and we sing and we dance throughout the night." The businessman offered a suggestion to the fisherman. He said, "I'm a PhD in business management. I could help you become a more successful person." From now on, you should spend more time at sea and try to catch as many fish as possible. When you've saved up enough money, you could buy a bigger boat and catch even more fish. And soon you'll be able to buy more boats and set up your own company, your own production plant for canned food and distribution network. By then, you'll have moved from this village to Sao Paulo, where you can set up headquarters and manage all your businesses. The fisherman continues, and after that? The businessman laughs. After that, you can live like a king in your own house. And when the time is right, you can go public and float your shares on the stock exchange and you'll be rich. The fisherman asks, and after that? The businessman says, after that, you can finally retire. You can move to a house by the fishing village. Wake up in the morning, catch a few fish. Then return home, play with your kids, have a nice afternoon nap with your wife, and when the evening comes, you can join your buddies for a drink, play the guitar, sing and dance throughout the night. The fisherman was puzzled. Isn't that what I'm doing now? That is our story for all ages.
We have one special joy to share with the community today, and I'd like to invite Amy back up to share it.
No, I want you with me. Okay. So I promised my son I would do this. So a lot of you remember a red-headed little boy who ran around this congregation. And that is my son. And even through COVID and quitting college for a while and coming back and going to music school and all the things he did, he asked me to announce that he has achieved his bachelor's in political science at the University of California at Davis. So we are very excited about that, and it was a big deal. So good news.
Congratulations. Thank you, Amy, and I think it's fair to say that we celebrate with you both this morning. So we center ourselves mindfully together to reach deep into the core of our beings and then to expand the horizons of our lives to encompass more of all there is. With mindfulness, we remember our own goodness, and then we move beyond ourselves to know our kinship with our siblings in many different places and different circumstances. So let us breathe with conscious awareness at this beginning of this new year to return to our centers. I invite you to close your eyes or leave them open and feel the rootedness of your feet on the floor, connecting you to the soil beneath you and nature beyond you. With each breath, feel at one with Mother Earth holding you steady in this moment. Allow your awareness of your breathing to also feel the lightness and the freedom of your being as it is rooted still and stable on the ground beneath you. Feel your spirit alive within you as you are held in this centeredness. Allow this stability and the movement of your breathing to meet and merge in the center of your being, in the space of your heart and solar plexus. Breathe deep into this space. collecting yourself and finding calm and a peace that surpasses all understanding. I invite you to join me in moments of greater mindfulness and prayer before we hold silence together. O Spirit of all life, living love in the heart of our beings, daybreak on morning's horizon, we enter into a new year, another cycle in the spiraling of the earth, sun, and moon through space, a new season in our lives. May we enter this new year with a freshness of spirit as we release those things which no longer serve us, those which are best left in the past. Let us take a moment to think of that which we wish to release, to make room for the new. Old ways of being, pains, resentments, old wounds. O great Spirit of life, help us to enter this new year with renewed spirits, returning our sometimes weary beings who have been through so much, too much, to their vitality, their strength, and their natural joy. And help us to help each other as best as we are able through whatever this year before us brings. May it be one filled with love of family and friends and community. May it be one of wholeness beyond our frailties and brokenness. May it be one of justice that overcomes prejudice and division. May it be one of compassion that we offer to ourselves and to those with whom we share our lives. May it be one of peace and this renewal of our spirits. Let us hold still together for silent meditation and whatever may be stirring in our hearts. I will ring our singing bowl to begin and end our time of silence. a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or even water, offered with devotion, I accept these pious offerings of one pure in heart. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer to the sacred fire, whatever gifts you give, whatever spiritual practices you perform, do them all as offerings of worship. Dedicate everything to be freed from the good and bad outcomes of action, and to be armed with the discipline of giving of one's self away, to be liberated and to be made one with all. These divine words from the holy book, the Bhagavad Gita, summarize what it is to worship for a Hindu on the path to spiritual enlightenment. It states that even a simple offering, such as a beautiful leaf or a radiant flower or a gentle libation of water that is made with love, will be accepted. It further invites the devotee to make all of their life an act of selfless worship, consecrated to the great mystery of life. In many Hindu homes, you will find a small shrine at the heart of the dwelling that houses one or many images of deity. Daily puja or worship is often performed with small offerings: the red hibiscus, the juicy orange, the pure water, the fragrant incense, the ghee lights, readings from sacred texts, and lovely melodies of devotion. This continues a tradition of worship that stretches back at least 5,000 years in India, and probably much further towards the beginnings of human civilization. It's believed that offering this puja is participating in a cosmic order that helps to bring harmony to existence and peace and blessings to life. Now, the Islamic tradition, it teaches that all of creation is in a continual state of worship of Allah. Whether one is aware of it or not, this wisdom holds that this is actually the natural disposition of all things in existence. Galaxies and atoms spin in their prostrations before the source of their beings. The tradition calls people to be mindful of how praise flows through the unfolding of nature and the universe. The entire cosmos can be perceived as a theophany, an encounter with the radiance of divine presence. In the Holy Quran, we find, "Do you not see that Allah is exalted by all who are in the heavens and all who are upon the earth? Even the birds in their flight outstretch their wings in worship. Have they not considered even how the shadows of everything created incline to the right and to the left, in praise as the sun moves, worshiping the Divine One in humility?" These are striking spiritual images of the interdependent web of being in dynamic relationship with itself. Even the simple act of the heart's beat and the creatures of nature breathing are perceived as fundamental acts of worship in the symphony of life. Awareness of these rhythms, great and small, is witnessing to this outpouring of worship and praise in this tradition. When one follows the path of humble attunement, they participate in what we Sufis call wadat al-wajud, the unity of all of being. Now, our Soul Matters theme for contemplation this month is finding our center. We're invited to think more deeply about the ways that we return to our rootedness in a spiritual center and to that which is our deepest humanity. How do we collect ourselves when the demands of the day or the week or the year or the years seem to have us fraying at the edges? How do we know when we've arrived home within ourselves and found that true center? Now, perhaps you turn to showing up for worship here on Sunday mornings to reconnect with community. Maybe you find it alone with a cup of green tea and a good book. Or perhaps you choose to spend some time gardening. Maybe you too have a shrine in your home where you remember what is most important, most sacred to you. There isn't really one right way, but there are many right ways for each of us to identify and enhance our capacities to find centeredness, to propel our own spiritual rejuvenation. Personally, what easily returns me to my spiritual center is preparing delicious vegetarian meals with fresh organic ingredients, dancing with abandon with my friends. We may be doing that later today. Offering my daily namaz prayers, that'll certainly be happening, and finding my groove in my yoga flow class at the gym. So I wonder what helps you to center. Does the commitment to being here in our Sunday service each week help you to find center? Now, worship is one of the ways that humanity has discovered to return to our core. It's true that through all of history and in every culture and every tradition, it's helped people and communities to connect to that which is most meaningful in life, to explore what is most true or deepest within ourselves, and it's provided a means to enter into relationship with the mysterious horizons of our universe. You may be wondering, well, what exactly is worship? Maybe you find yourself reflecting on the fact that you show up here each week or maybe just on occasion for our Sunday services, and you've never really considered what it means to be a part of the worship life of a community. If this is you, I assure you, you're not alone. So what exactly is it that we do as Unitarian Universalists when we gather for worship? Now, I should note, unlike our Hindu and Muslim siblings, this endeavor isn't necessarily tied to reverence for a deity, as it is in many spiritual traditions. There are traditions like Buddhism and traditions of paganism and others that are atheistic or agnostic, and yet they still embrace this practice. So what is this broadly encompassing thing that we do that's called the same thing as what our Jewish neighbors do on Friday evenings and our Christian neighbors do on Sunday mornings, and yet still has its own unique expression in our tradition? Simply put, our liberal religious tradition defines worship as the act of uplifting things that are worthy of our reverence. When we worship, we elevate things of worth. We join with all other Unitarian Universalist congregations on Sunday mornings to recenter ourselves in what is most valuable, most sacred to us as a people, as a community, as a tradition. It isn't just one thing, as it is in some traditions, but for us it's many things. And it isn't just what any one of us finds to be most worthy either. It's the summation of what's been discovered by our movement as it has engaged with the great theological, philosophical, existential, and moral questions of life. Now you may be wondering, well, who decided that our worship services are going to be like this? Who decided that we should sing hymns, delight in extraordinary music, share joys and sorrows of our community, engage with spiritual practices, explore spiritual teachings, take up monetary collections, and hopefully in the process build that beloved community together? You may be surprised by the fact that our liturgy, the form that our services take, originated nearly 2,000 years ago. It began when small communities were drawn to radical interpretations of Jewish law that were being promoted by someone who many came to believe was the promised Messiah. Love one another, and blessed are the poor, and love your enemies, and pray for those who persecute you, and all that good stuff. We just celebrated his birth the other week. Now, these small communities developed a new form of communal worship that was distinct from the Jewish temple traditions and from the pagan rites of the Roman Empire. In the Christian scriptures, in the book of Acts, which was written, somewhere in the late 1st century, it records they devoted themselves to the apostles' teachings and to community fellowship and to the breaking of bread and to prayer. So we find in this text a record of early church worship consisting of spiritual teaching, community building, a shared meal, and spiritual exercise. Sounds like church to me. Justin Martyr wrote another account of the worship style of these early spiritual communities in a letter to the Roman authorities in 153 of the Common Era. He writes, "On the day called Sunday, there is a gathering together in the same place of all who live in a given city or rural district. The memories of the apostles or the writings of the prophets are read as long as time permits." They may have had long sermons then, too. Then, when the reader ceases, they were concerned about that too, the worship leader offers a discourse that admonishes and urges the intimidation of these good things. Next, we all rise together and send up our prayers. Then the worship leader, in the same manner, sends up thanksgivings, and the people all sing out, "Amen." Those who have means and are willing, each according to their choice, give of what they will, and what is collected is deposited. They provide for the orphans and widows, those who are in need on account of sickness or some other cause, those who are enslaved, strangers who are sojourning, and in a word, they become protectors of all who are in need. In this description, we find the additions of congregational singing and a collection being taken for humanitarian outreach and what we might today consider to be social justice efforts. So now that we're better acquainted with the meaning of worship and the early origins of the liturgy, let's return to this question of the morning: why worship? I posed this question at our annual Worship Associates retreat a few weeks ago, and we also explored some of the reasons we gathered together on Sunday mornings. I also solicited feedback from the broader congregation, and I want to share some of their responses to begin our new year. One member reflected, "I come to worship to be a part of a community that is committed to building a more loving world. I come to church to be with people I like and to hang out with a lot of people who are practicing what it means to be human. That is, to admit that I'm not a finished product, and neither is anyone else. We get to make mistakes and learn from them in community. He identifies some of the central reasons that we gather for worship, to build that beloved community, that more loving world, and a place of real belonging with kindred spirits, a sanctuary, if you will, where you feel supported and supported in your search for meaning and personal and spiritual growth. Another member shared that they come to worship to explore the great existential questions of life, to learn more about religion, and to encourage their children to do the same. One member shared that she comes to church to encounter God. This is a place where we open ourselves to mystery and transcendence, however we may define or experience them. One member shared that they come to worship every Sunday to sing. Now that's a great answer. Where else do we get to sing together? And what an extraordinary music program we have. Many observed that it was in worship that we could transcend our individual lives and our limited perspectives and concerns to remember what was ultimately important. One person observed that worship is where we affirm people's humanity and discern ethical and moral truths for ourselves and our society. Another reflected that this is the place where we practice the art of caring for each other. Many said that they come to worship to find healing or wholeness in the midst of brokenness and woundedness. I would add that our liberal religious worship is also a space for prophetic witness, a place where we dream together of a brighter future for all. And then we go out ahead of our society so often and attempt to bring that into being. Finally, with our worship, each week we create and maintain sacred space. Right here at 18th and Arizona, to continue to pass down the cherished traditions and wisdom of our liberal religious tradition from one generation to the next. All of these things together are some of the reasons we gather for worship: creating beloved community and belonging, nurturing spiritual growth, creating music and art and singing together, discerning ethics and making justice, extending care and finding healing, affirming goodness and wholeness, dreaming dreams, encountering mystery, experiencing transcendence, and living with reverence. With all of these, we are making of our lives an act of worship. To an inspiring and joyous new year. Amen and blessed be.
He's a little taller than I am. A meaningful practice here at UUSM is to dedicate half of our weekly Sunday offering to support the life of the church, and the other half is used to give to organizations that do the work in the world that we may be, or that they may be too big if we were trying to do it alone. That's a really kind of cool concept if you think about that we share and that we do this in our worship. This month's generous congregational recipient will be Homeboy Industries. Father Greg Boyle, who founded Homeboy Industries, informs us, quote, We work with the population that nobody desires to work with, and it's a principle of this place that we stand with them, unquote. Did you know that Homeboys Industries is the largest gang rehabilitation and reentry program in the world? For over 30 years, they have stood as a beacon of hope in Los Angeles to provide training and support to formerly gang-involved and previously incarcerated people, allowing them to redirect their lives and become contributing members of the community. And even cooler is something that began in 1988 has today become a blueprint for over 250 organizations and social enterprises from around the world, from Alabama to Idaho to Guatemala and Scotland. The Global Homeboy Network is a group of like-minded organizations committed to impacting the lives of those in their communities through case management, domestic violence, educational services, legal services, mental health services, solar panning training, substance abuse, tattoo removal, workforce development, and youth reentry. There are many ways to give. We're going to check out our slide. Cool. And the instructions, you can take your phone and do the little QR code if you want, or we do still take cash and checks, okay? If any of you have a checkbook. Everything is appreciated. We really appreciate what you do for our community, but even more so, I really want to reinforce it matters. It matters, this work we do, and it matters that we all do it together, and let's get really good at doing this. So I invite our ushers now to come forward, and our fabulous Chloe to come forward as we now give and receive this morning's offering.
No time, and before there was a number, Spirit did prevail in a song of ecstasy. And before I had a dream or a lesson to remember, Spirit gently held the song inside of me. So I sing a song of joy, I sing a song of knowing that all is truly well, and that heaven is at hand. Sometimes I may cry that I don't know where I'm going, but God's love does prevail, as God's love only can. For when there was no time, and before there was a number, Spirit did prevail in a song of ecstasy. And before I had a dream or a lesson to remember, Spirit gently held the song inside of me. So I sing a song of joy, I sing a song to the higher, that all is truly well, and compassion is the plan. Sometimes I may cry that the world is such a lie, but God's love does prevail, as God's love only can. For when there was no time, and before there was days unnumbered, Spirit did prevail in a song of ecstasy. And before I had a dream or a lesson to remember, Spirit gently held the song inside of me. Oh, the song inside of me. Oh, the song inside of me. The song inside of you. Oh, the song inside of me.
All right, please rise in body or spirit for our closing hymn, which is 128. For all that is our life.
For all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all that is a gift which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad. For needs which others serve, for services we give, for work and its rewards, for hours of rest and love, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life. For sorrow we must bear, for failures, pain, and loss, for each new thing we learn, for fearful hours that pass, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life. For all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad.
May you go in peace. May you hold fast to that which is good, returning to no person evil for evil, but do strengthen the faint of heart, support the weak, help the afflicted, honor all beings. May you go forth into this day and be blessed, and may you be that blessing. Amen.